Wow, when we said this looked like Zack Snyder's version of Suicide Squad, we had no idea. I couldn't believe that everyone died. Pretty much everyone died, or they're now the undead. And I was also shocked that it was Ella Purnell's Kate who was actually responsible for more deaths than any of the zombies. I mean, I think she actually kind of got everybody killed. I think it's funny that both the best and worst characters in the movie are women. But I had a really good time watching it, and I can't wait to discuss it with you right now, because this is my spoiler review for Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which hit Netflix today after playing in theaters for about a week. And I'm curious what your viewing experience was. Where did you see it? If you watched it in the theater, where did you go? How was that? If you watched it at home, what time of day? What kind of snacks did you have? Paint me a picture. All right, so first, in this spoiler review, we're going to talk story points, and then I'll go through the characters in order of my favorites. So even at 2+ hours, clearly, this film is meant to be a starting point for a much larger universe that, to go with the gambling theme, Netflix is betting on heavily. We've got the animated prequel coming up this year, as well as the live-action prequel showing Dieter's safe-cracking past. But to me, the biggest tease is what will happen next. With Omari Hardwick getting bit, how'd he get out of that safe? I thought for sure he was going to die in there. But he got out of the safe, he had a bunch of money. I really liked the end credit scene, which was really not an end credit scene. They tacked it on at the very end, I guess on Netflix, because it does the instant, try to make you watch something else. They can't really do that there. So they had it tacked on at the very end of the movie. But I thought that was great. I knew something bad was going to happen. I liked when the stewardess was like, his skin's so cold. I'm like, lady, don't you know anything about zombies? Land the plane. And also I was interested that he didn't turn into a zombie as quickly as everyone else. Now, my theory when I saw the film was he's going to be the next Zeus, especially because we're now in need of a Zeus because he was killed in the very end. And when I moderated the Q&A with Zack and Debbie Snyder on Monday at the Paris Theater, Zack confirmed that that's the basic idea. And I would love to see that sequel because I have a lot of zombie questions. All right, so let's go through them, and I'm curious to hear your zombie questions down below. Why didn't more zombies make a helmet, right? I mean, it was ridiculously clever. If you can only die by a head injury, duh, wear a helmet. Every time someone tried to shoot him in the head and it would bounce off the helmet, I was like, that's really smart, Zeus. But I don't know why he didn't make helmets for everybody else. I guess he felt everybody else was replaceable, I guess except for the zombie queen. Why not make her a helmet? Or I guess in that case, she would have needed a metal scarf because of the way she was taken out. But I thought that was very cool. Also, why couldn't that zombie baby survive outside of the mother's womb, right? Because I mean, it is the living dead. I thought that maybe Zeus should have given more of an effort to see if he could salvage that zombie baby. I was like, wait a minute, there might still be something here. Not only, I think there's definitely something there in terms of story development. Also, what would a zombie baby be like? What would be the benefit of zombies multiplying the old-fashioned way for humans rather than the old-fashioned way for zombies, which is to bite and spread the virus, right? Why would nature feel that it needs to improve upon that? I also, at this Q&A, asked Zack that if the zombie queen's head had been reattached to her body, would she have lived? And he said yes, and I think that's really interesting and makes her death all the more tragic. And also makes me feel that maybe the zombie queen's body without a head could have maybe kept developing that baby. But anyway, he also said that you could reattach it to another zombie body and it would work, which gives these zombies a potential to create their own Frankenstein situation, which I also think is very interesting. So this is stuff I would like to explore. This is the most zombie world building. I mean, considering how long zombies have been around, Zack Snyder went from 0 to 100 with one movie in terms of developing zombie mythology, from the zombies' point of view. He's a zombie activist. I loved the zombie queen. I thought when she was just ahead and she was looking around a whole lot, I thought that was very funny. I thought she'd try and Morse code signal Zeus. Although I guess she was previously a Vegas showgirl. I would have liked to have seen that come through a little bit in her personality. I thought that was pretty interesting. Zeus, by the way, didn't look as cool as I thought he would. So I didn't really feel bad when he got taken out. I was like, this is a good start, but I feel we could do better with a leader, which is why I'm so excited about Omari Hardwick. But I really liked the zombie queen. I really felt her loss. When her head hit the concrete, I was like, no, there was a lot there. I really wish that head had survived. I wish that she and Nora Arnezeder could have gone on as some crazy team, like Batman's been carrying around the Joker's head. That didn't really work out so well as a comic. By Scott Snyder, by the way. But I thought that would have been fun. But anyway, I liked the zombie queen a lot, even when she was just a head. Which is funny because there's that famous thing about how women are sometimes portrayed in entertainment of like she has no head, so here she was just a head. Now also, why did the zombies ever try to leave Las Vegas? Were they growing their numbers internally and they didn't want to leave until they were ready? Or were they simply content with their lives? Because as the coyote said, if you give them their space and you show that you're respecting their rules, they leave you alone. Although if they did want to just stay in Vegas, what were they eating? Do they need to eat? I have a lot of zombie questions, as I said. I need a zombie encyclopedia. We need a zombie study. I need to send a doctor in here. But anyway, it's really interesting to me because it reminds me of kind of a different take on Jeff Goldblum's famous Jurassic Park line, and that's life finds a way. And I guess that's even when it's the undead. So that, to me, as I said, it begs further exploration. Now, I also felt the movie was shockingly timely. They had the immigrant camp outside. I don't know what those people were waiting for, but they were outside Las Vegas. I guess they didn't have anywhere else to go. I thought the politician stuff was really interesting. Like they were going to send the nuke on the 4th of July, for messaging. I was like, that's a little too close to home. It's like a little too real. And then also I like the commentary on the little guy. That the little guy always gets left out and the powers that be just use them as pawns or cannon fodder, which has been a discussion for a long time when it comes to these kinds of situations. And I did think the opening was very interesting where they were dividing up what the price point was for everybody, right? That I thought when they first said that the three main people, Dave Bautista, Ana de la Reguera's character and Omari Hardwick's character would get $15 million apiece, I was like, you guys are going to have to take $10 million apiece because that doesn't leave you enough money left over to bargain for the rest of your team. But I was surprised how cheap some people were willing to go for. Although I thought with Raul Castillo's character, I think he was in like an Instagrammer. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But in this perspective, he just liked the opportunity. He liked getting a little more exposure. He liked some content for his social media accounts. That to me he's like, ooh, who do I get to kill? I thought that stuff was just, everyone's price point to me was really fascinating. And I didn't expect the beginning of the movie to be that clever in that regard. I thought that was great. But I was surprised they got everybody so cheap. And as I said in my non-spoiler review, nobody negotiated their price. Not a single person negotiated their price, which I think is true to form for actually most people, the way things actually go. But I would have thought one person would have negotiated. I thought one person would have. Then Valentine, the zombie tiger. I think the idea of zombie animals is brilliant, and I'm surprised someone hasn't come up with it before this. I never got tired of seeing that zombie tiger. It was amazing. I don't know how it saw out of the other eye. You'd think its balance would be a little off, but I'm not going to complain because I had a great time. And that extended kill with Garrett Dillahunt, that was like straight up out of The Revenant. It was amazing. And the way they had the makeup on Garrett Dillahunt's face when he got all slashed up and because he got bit in the head. I mean, you really felt that kill. That was really gruesome. I think they did a great job with that. Although I have to say the movie was surprisingly dark as to who could be sacrificed, right? Basically the answer was rapists. And I'm surprised they had two rapists. Because, you're dealing with like this ragtag group, what's the line? What's the line for who can be sacrificed for the group? And again, they came up with the line, and I think that, everybody would agree with that. All right, so anyway, I also thought the military angle was interesting. They really barely scratched the surface of that. Like Bly Tanaka had those military people with him when Dave Bautista called and said he would accept the job. Garrett Dillahunt was trying to get the head for the military. I was like, why do you need the cover of this heist job to get the head? Just sneak in there, You could have just hired Nora Arnezeder's coyote and taken care of things. So I wasn't quite sure about that. But I was interested they had multiple teams and that they had a different goal in mind would explain why they never gave the combination to the safe. Maybe they would send people in and hope they'd get bitten and get them early, maybe. I could see that. I need to know a little bit more about what the actual plan was. During the Q&A, Debbie Snyder revealed that our Zeus zombie comes from Area 51, which I thought was very interesting. We know there are aliens there, but we never thought maybe there are zombies in there. And then also everyone's talking about cyborg zombies. Zach asked at the Q&A who spotted them. I spotted some zombies being electrocuted, but I thought that was based on the weapon that was taking them out. I thought that was external. The fact that it was internal, I need to know more about that as well. So I thought that was very interesting. And then before we get into characters specifically, I was really taken in the opening sequence by the story of that zombie soccer mom turned zombie Avenger and her daughter. That, the fact that the zombie soccer mom got bitten and wasn't going to make it out of Las Vegas, in the opening sequence, and the daughter would rather die with her mother than live without her, and then they got squashed by that, by the shipping container, that brought a tear to my eye. I wasn't ready to cry that early in the movie. So I think it really shows the strength of Zack Snyder's the montaging that he's become so good at, like the Watchmen opening credit sequence and this. Like they told a short story there basically, and they really got me. I thought that was really moving and incredible. All right, so I'm going to actually start with my least favorite character, and as I said, that's Kate Ward, played by Ella Purnell. And I want to start with her because she just drove me crazy. Her character was so frustrating and annoying. I thought she was basically the Karen of the movie. She not understanding the reality of the situation and other people's circumstances and where they're coming from. It was just really driving me crazy. Like, she couldn't cut her dad some slack. She's like, I just can't get over it right away, Dad. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, he's going to give you $15 million. I think you've punished him enough. I thought she was so cold to him that maybe he wasn't her actual father and maybe was just her mom's boyfriend. But I think they had the same last name. I believe that he actually was her father, but I just thought she was too cruel to him. I mean, I know that there was some misunderstanding as to whether or not maybe he shouldn't have disappeared, but I thought, he was laying all his cards on the table there, and I thought she was pretty cold in the way she kind of smacked him away. I was like, he's really trying here. He's risking his life. And speaking of that, she not only made her father risk his life, but everybody else on the team by being a liability. It's like, you're distracting everybody on this team. You're bringing the whole team down, and you add nothing to the team. I just couldn't believe that they allowed her to come along. I could understand why her father felt that way, but I can't believe he wasn't immediately outvoted by everybody else on the team. I was like, she's just going to get us all killed. No, she could not come. And then also the woman that she was trying to go and rescue, who she didn't, by the way, that woman still died in the helicopter crash. So it was for nothing. She didn't even rescue her. But I can't believe when she showed up to rescue the mom's mom wasn't like, who's watching my kids? The whole reason I asked you to do that is because I was worried something bad might happen to them. But now that you're in here, how are you ever going to find them? Where are they right now? I mean, Kate didn't do anything. She didn't save the mom, and she couldn't take care of the mother's kids like she'd been asked to. So I just thought that was incredible. And I know a number of you are fans of that Indian actress who played the mom, so I felt bad for you guys that she didn't have a bigger role. So yeah, Kate Ward really annoyed the heck out of me. But I mean, I guess you need characters like that so that things can go wrong, or else you wouldn't have a movie. All right, so as I said, the worst and best characters in this movie are women. So the zombie queen also I loved, as you know, we just talked about her. Now as for the human characters, Tig Notaro was so great. She was so funny. And I love that her character was not gender specific, which was so cool. Her comedy was not defined by her gender. She just was awesome. And I thought that was so cool. Her humor was so dry. I can't even imagine Crystalia in this role. She of course took over for him. I think it would not be nearly as good. I mean, it was just such a cool character. I just thought she was just absolutely perfect. Tig Notaro needs more work. I felt so bad. They could have gotten out of there if it hadn't been for Kate Ward. They had the helicopter. They were ready to go. They were all loaded up. It was just, and Tig Notaro sacrificed herself to come back for them. She didn't deserve the helicopter blade to the chest that she got. Also, she was so seamlessly inserted into the film. I never would have guessed that she wasn't there with everybody else. That was just incredible. Really well done. Then Samantha Win chambers. You know, it's tough to cast stunt people in acting roles. Like Louis Tan, it doesn't always work out. But Samantha Win really impressed me. I thought that, first of all, the sequence was great where they were going through these sleeping zombies and they had to try not to wake them up. And then I thought it was very clever that Garrett Dillahunt was able to throw her off the path by throwing the light up, you know, the light up party tube to mislead her and send her off into a different direction, deeper into the sleeping zombies. And then that fight scene was incredible. Not only did Samantha Win do a great job with the actual action sequences, but it was choreographed in a way that was believable that she was holding her own against all these zombies. And then I knew that she was one of my favorite characters when she came crashing through the plate glass window and she was still alive, she was still fighting, and I was like, Garrett Dillahunt, you're going down. But unfortunately, she didn't make it, and she had to sacrifice herself when, again, Raul Castillo shot her the gasoline that she was wearing as a backpack in slow motion, one of the few slow motion shots in the movie, but I thought really well used. But when she came through, I was like, what a champ! When she broke through that window covered in zombies, still fighting for her life. She was incredible. As I said in my non-spoiler review, she plays an Amazon in the Wonder Woman movies, and like a background Amazon. She deserves a full-on Amazon fight sequence where she's the lead. She was fantastic. I'll never, that's one of the coolest things. I'll never forget her crashing through that window. Then Nora Arnezeder as the Coyote, again, not a gender-specific role, which I loved. Really cool. Anyone could have played this. She did a great job. I like the thing about the difficulty of having to sometimes leave people behind. I thought that was handled really well. Although she had a little bit of a feminist angle when she decided, although anyone could have done this, when she was like, hey, Theo Rossi, you want to come along? I smiled when she did that because I knew what she was doing. I knew she was bringing him along for bait, which was very clever when you think about it. I think that, you know, why don't more movies do that when you're going into that kind of a situation? We need some expendables, right? I thought that was like really smart. And again, just like the helmet on Zeus, you're like, why has no one ever done this before? It's really clever. So I loved that. And again, I wish she and the Zombie Queen could have teamed up together and gone on. I think that would have been really cool. Although I guess since she left so many people behind to die over the years, I think, or at least the time period that she was a coyote into the zombie territory, she did have to pay the price if she was going to be redeemed. Then Dave Bautista, he's okay. I mean, I think he handles the dramatic scenes pretty darn well, actually. That's some of his best stuff, in fact. And I always appreciate Dave Bautista in glasses. And as I said also in my non-spoiler review, he had my favorite line where he said, you know, where Bly Tanaka was like, your life's pretty crappy. And he's like, I'm aware of the situation. I thought that was great. But I felt so bad when he died at the end. I mean, his daughter killed him. She straight up killed him. I mean, he would have made it out of there. So that was frustrating. And he did, you know, he got me. He got me emotionally. It wasn't like the opening scene with the soccer mom and the daughter, but they got me in the feels. I was impressed. Then I thought Raul Castillo was great. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's a great actor. He was just as fun here as he always is. I thought the blonde hair joke with Dieter was funny when Dieter's like, I like your hair. I thought that was great. And I liked the zombie killing influencer angle. I thought that was interesting. That's of course what would happen if there was a real life zombie apocalypse. Some people would decide to do that. I thought that was another really interesting take that I hadn't seen before. And I felt really bad that he didn't make it as well, because he again was also so close to making it. And then he was on the floor of the casino and he had to be left behind, and they just had to take the elevator up without him. That was really powerful too. I liked that a lot. As for Ana de la Reguera, her kill was shocking. Her kill was the most interesting thing about her role. I felt bad. She should have clarified with Dave Bautista that maybe they might date after this excursion before she went on the run. I'd be like, this is a little bit too high risk for you not to have a clear answer as to where this relationship is going. But yeah, when she got killed and she was looking him right in the face, having her neck twisted, that, you know, I guess you need people, you know, just like Nora Arnezeder said, we need people to sacrifice. This movie needed a big team so there could be lots of kills, and that was one of the best kills. Then finally, as for Dieter, he didn't make as big an impression on me as I expected him to, considering he got a prequel. But he was fine. He just wasn't, you know, as you can see, he's not anywhere near my top favorite characters. I was also really surprised that they immediately found the right safecracker. I would have at least thought they'd have to see like 2 or 3 safecrackers. But they were like, first try, why? He'll do it for like no money, and he has experience with this ridiculously complicated safe. One thing I did like about him, though, is the way he cracked the safe with the pencil, wax pencil markings on the safe, from the combination. That was a really cool visual that I'd also never seen before, and I thought that was really interesting. I liked that a lot. So I'll be curious to see what they do with his prequel. I also liked his friendship with Amari Hardwick. I thought that was sweet, and he saved his life. I would love, Deborah Snyder at the Q&A said, you didn't see Dieter die. Maybe he didn't die. I don't know how he would have survived that nuclear blast, but maybe they could find a way, because I would love for Omari as the new Zeus to have a great right-hand man in Dieter. I think that would be really interesting. So that's my spoiler review for Army of the Dead. What do you think? Who were your favorite characters? Did you have any least favorite characters? What are your burning zombie questions? And what interests you the most going forward about expanding this story? The prequels, a potential sequel. Share all those thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.